Hello everyone. This is Tobi from the Phuket Meditation Center, and you're listening to the Dharana Meditation Podcast. Let's sit together, calm the busy mind, and explore topics concerning character development, meditative training, and deeper self-knowledge.
So we begin by sitting upright. The head is suspended from above. It's like your skeleton is hanging from the ceiling, attached by the crown. And all the soft parts of your body are melting down into the ground, just following gravity. If you tap into this feeling, you get a nice balance between being upright and relaxed. Gradually let your body and your mind, your emotions settle down. Just breathing comfortably and leaving yourself alone. There's nothing to do, nothing to get rid of, nothing to accumulate. Let the mind be as it is. Let your body and your feelings be as they are. Really notice what kind of breathing feels good. As you breathe in, breathing in a way that feels nice, fulfilling, refreshing. That does not necessarily mean to breathe very deep or in a fancy way. Just listen to your own body, see what feels nice. Same goes, of course, for breathing out. once you're a bit more settled, a bit more at ease, you can expand your awareness to fill the entire body as you breathe in. And as you breathe out, releasing tension throughout the whole body. Just let everything melt. And again, look for comfort. Look for what feels nice. Breathing in, feeling the body, breathing out, letting go in a way that feels good. Each time when you breathe out, you can feel as if all your problems have been solved. And you're finally able to completely relax, to enjoy life. All the stress is behind you, and there's nothing in the future that you need to be scared of at all. Everything is okay. That kind of feeling of relief. Each breath is like practicing the feeling of being done, being at ease, joyful. Teaching your body, your nervous system, what that feels like. Training that feeling. As opposed to waiting or hoping for it. And the better you get at releasing, enjoying yourself, the less relevant the future and the past will become. So you achieve a natural presence. This is always the case, that you're present when you're enjoying yourself. And that you're enjoying yourself because you're present. It is suffering and stress that make you look into the future with hope or fear. Or look into the past with regret or longing. You can make use of those perceptions of melting or dissolving, evaporating. With each out-breath. Like this, your mind and your breathing will come together more and more. Quite effortlessly, keeping the breath in mind. Not because you have to, or because it's a technique or something, just simply because it's nice. You can even think of your entire body as being made out of a breath. Like a mist of energy. Every feeling, every sensation is already essentially energy. And each time you breathe in and out, you're playing with that energy. So in that way you can experience your whole body as breath or energy. And then with very subtle direction, you can change the way this field behaves. Breathing out with the perception of calming, healing, softening has an impact on your feeling, the way you perceive your body. So to go deeper into the meditation, you want to slow down and calm this energy field. Every time you feel you get distracted, don't make a big deal out of it at all. Just gently return when you notice. Make it nice and pleasant. So that your mind gradually learns that it doesn't have to escape, it doesn't have to run away. It can be quite comfortably here with you. Especially each time you breathe out, let your brain melt and soften. The area around the forehead especially. Notice that each time when you do that, this wave of release will go through the rest of your body. In your own time, you can slowly come back, open your eyes, gently stretch a little bit. All right, so good morning, everyone. It's nice to see you. Have you ever been happy in your life? Have you ever felt really good? So you know what that means? To feel good, to feel happy, to feel at ease and relaxed. Have you noticed that whenever you're feeling good, when you're happy, when you're enjoying something, that time becomes completely irrelevant? It doesn't matter. You're not thinking ahead. You're not thinking back into the past. It just doesn't matter. There's no such impulse at all in the mind. And on the other hand, every time you felt really bad, when you had lots of suffering and stress, time became very important. Especially trying to get out of this situation right now produces time. If you're not feeling good, then immediately hope arises and fear at the same time. Hope is, well, I hope I will feel good soon, and I'm afraid I might not. And then the mind begins to scramble around this idea, trying to make you happy, trying to get you to a better moment. So you can see with this example that time is only relevant when you suffer, when you're stressed, when you contract it. Otherwise, it is not. The happier you are, the less you think of time. If you're feeling really, really good, like let's say you have a very nice massage or a nice dinner, you don't think of like, when does this end? If you're enjoying a song, you're listening to that song, you love it so much, you don't want to think about when it ends. You don't even think of pressing the next button to go to the next song. Getting to the end of the song is not the point of listening to a song. Unless you really don't like it. Then you need to get to the end of the song really fast. Just press the skip button. Same goes for really everything we enjoy that gives us a good feeling. Like looking at the watch indicates you want to be somewhere else. The question, like let's say when you're watching a movie or a series on Netflix and you're wondering just how much longer does this series go? How many more episodes? What's that question indicating? You want to get to the end of it. Why? You're not enjoying it. If you really enjoy it, it doesn't matter when it ends. Also, very interesting, when you're happy, when you're joyful and pleasant, then also time passes really fast. The perceived time, if you then look at the watch, suddenly 2 hours have gone by. You've just been enjoying yourself. You didn't even notice. But if you're not enjoying yourself, if you're in stress and suffering, then even 10 minutes or 5 minutes are like an hour. You can't wait for this to end. You might know that from your meditation practice. Also, maybe you sit there and then you wonder about when does the bell ring? When does the session stop? How much longer? Or how long have I been sitting already? That these questions that come up. I wonder, was it 10 minutes? Was it 15? That means I have 5 minutes left. If you're sitting for 20 minutes, for example, you start to calculate in your head. A very clear indication that you do not enjoy yourself at all right now. You just want it to end. That can lead us a little bit deeper, and we can ask ourselves, what is the cause of time? The perception of time. First of all, time is a perception. Time does not exist anywhere outside of our own minds. Time is not in a rock or in a tree or hidden in some grains of sand or perhaps deeply buried in a single atom somewhere. It's an abstract concept, time. And a concept by its nature is not out there. It's in there. It's in our mind. The one that produces a concept or perception is the mind. Time is not there in a bottle or on a watch. This is just a bunch of metal and other materials. It's not time. If you try to point to something that is time, let's take away the word, okay? T-I-M-E. Let's take those letters away. So what would it be then that those letters are pointing to? Where is it? Like if I say plastic bottle of water or bottle of water, if I take away the words, that thing, that object, it's still here, right? Well, what is it with time? Plastic bottle, the word plastic bottle points to that bottle. What does the word time point to exactly? And we can, I think, accurately say it points to an experience, it points to a perception, to a construct, a concept, an idea. And that idea is only relevant when you suffer. Now, when you don't suffer, it is completely irrelevant because you do not have to get somewhere. You don't have to get back into your past to solve your problems because you have regret, or you don't have to get back into your past because everything was better in the 60s. And you don't have to get into the future. Your mind doesn't have to get into the future because it's better there. Or I hope it's better there. It doesn't have to produce any kind of fantasies. It doesn't have to produce any kind of concept. That the happy mind, the satisfied mind, doesn't need time. It's irrelevant, totally irrelevant. For a baby, a little child, time is irrelevant, doesn't exist. It only learns that later. You learn later. You learn about the concept of time. If time was intrinsic to existence, then a baby would perceive it too. But it doesn't. It's totally irrelevant to a baby. It has to learn that it's relevant. Hurry up. With 5 minutes left, and you get your first watch when you're like 5 years old or what. Like your parents give you your first watch. Wow, now you can now check the time, then you go to school. Now you live by schedule. Time becomes important. And I'm not ranting against time. I'm not saying time should not exist, or time is stupid, or time is only for people who are not advanced meditators. I'm saying that time, the way you perceive it, it might not be the way you perceive it. And I'm interested in the concept of time. I want to explore that. What is it? What gives rise to it? And so my idea about what it is that gives rise to time is it's craving. Craving essentially means hope and fear, wanting and not wanting. And that arises as a response to suffering. The less you crave, the happier you are. The happier you are, the less you crave. Happiness is a state of satisfaction. You don't need anything or any other time because you are fulfilled. Time only makes sense if you're not fulfilled. And time gives you that interesting little play that you could be fulfilled, but not now. You first have to get somewhere, and then there's this promise you can be fulfilled. First you have to buy this product, then you can be fulfilled. You need to add something on to yourself, and then. So it seems indeed that the cause for time, the perception of time, the concept of time, is craving. If craving diminishes, time diminishes. What it means, it diminishes, it has less relevance in your mind. You don't, it doesn't occur to you, it's not important to you at all. It's only practical. Let's meet tomorrow at 9 a.m. That's it, but it's not dramatic. There's two types of time. There's dramatic time and there's practical time. Practical time, totally okay. No problem with it. We got to have a calendar. We need to know that next week we have this and that to do and so on. Of course, obviously. And in fact, I think it's good to have a good structure around time. When you wake up, when you go to sleep and so on and so forth. It's healthy. But that's purely practical. It's not dramatic. It's not emotional time. Emotional time, very different. That's the thing you feel when you're sitting in meditation and you can't wait for it to stop. You're waiting for the bell.
It's like psychological time.
Yeah. Well, I think Eckhart Tolle talks about psychological time and practical timing. Yes, that's what it is. A psychological, emotional time. Time has significance based on your suffering, not based on practicalities, everyday life practicalities. You can perfectly plan, okay, tomorrow let's meet at 9 a.m. Let's have breakfast together. There's no drama to it. But then you could now hope, oh my God, what if something happens before 9 a.m. and I can't make it to breakfast? What if I get into a car accident and then I miss my appointment? Oh, that would be horrible. And then you start to fantasize about not making it. And then it becomes emotional. It's not practical anymore. It's saturated with fantasy, you can say. It's not anymore just basic practical stuff. It's normal everyday things. Yes, it's uncertain. We don't know if we are going to meet tomorrow at 9 a.m. We could die. We could get really ill. We could have severe problems coming up in the meantime. We don't know about this. And it is not relevant. It doesn't matter. Like it doesn't matter to my sense of happiness. Time should not be a tool to get happiness. It fails as miserably as a tool for happiness. Like this idea that you need to get somewhere and then you can be happy and relaxed. It keeps you actually from being happy and relaxed. The only way to really come into happiness and relaxation is if you do this right now. It's your only option. Happiness is not in the future. It doesn't come. Give up hope. If you give up hope, you also give up fear. Hope and fear is the same thing. It's just two different sides of the coin. So when I say give up your fear, fear not, worry not, then I also tell you, don't hope. You don't need to hope. What are you hoping for? Isn't hope an indication that you're not there yet? And isn't that sentence, you're not there yet, you're not here yet, you haven't arrived yet, isn't that a lie? Be honest. Are you not here yet? Seriously? Really? Would you state that boldly, saying, I'm not here yet? Really? That's a stupid thing to say, isn't it? I'm not here yet. Okay, I'm being a bit judgy. I shouldn't judge. It's not stupid. It's just ignorant. In a way of just not knowing. We don't know. We think, okay, I'm not here yet. I'll soon be there. That is that time connected to happiness, or a thing connected to happiness. It's the same. You connect happiness to a thing, and only if you're in touch with that thing are you allowed to feel wonderful. But if you're not in touch with that thing, you are not allowed. It's like a program in our minds. You're not allowed to feel happy because you're not in touch with that thing or that person or that substance. Now you can't feel happy. If you know a little bit of programming, some idea of programming, then you have a language. Every program is basically a language, and you tell the machine what to do. So you have this concept of if, then. So if something happens here, then do this. If it doesn't happen, then do that. If it happens in this way, do this, and so on. Yes, basic idea of program. So in the same way, your mind is like a program. If you equals separation from your partner, then no happiness. If you equals joining with your partner, then equals happiness. Then there's happiness, okay? It's basic programming. If random person on the street is looking at you a certain way, then insert insecurity. Now need to feel insecurity. If certain person looks at you a different way, insert program, whatever you've learned in your childhood, then you're allowed to feel happy. Like we're just like little robots. The mind's just like a robot. It's like a machine, exactly like a machine. Okay? So that's why we're so predictable. That's why you can be, quote, triggered. That word, it's a trigger. It's even used in programming as well. You insert triggers. A certain trigger does certain things. It's like admitting that you're a machine. So what's the difference between AI and human beings? Human beings are conscious. AI looks okay. So what's your proof for consciousness then? Prove it that you're conscious. And it doesn't matter what you say as a proof, AI would say the same. How do you prove that it's not conscious? That's a big dilemma, it's a big problem. You cannot prove that AI is not conscious. You don't know that. Otherwise, how would you know that? What is your indicator of consciousness? Is it a reaction? Well, AI reacts, doesn't it? Is it an emotion? Well, AI can say that it feels something. I feel very sorry, but I didn't get your input. Can you repeat, or something like that? Can you clarify your demand? I'm very sorry. It can say that, but you can't prove whether it does feel sorry or not. We don't know that. It could feel sorry. Like otherwise you could have to doubt anybody that says, I'm sorry. Are you actually feeling it? Because we don't know if they actually feel it or not, do we? So all our proofs for consciousness out of the window. We don't know how to prove that someone outside of yourself is conscious. We don't know that. That goes very, very deep. Anyway, so we are like little robots, like little programs. I always say that, therefore advertising makes sense, and paying a lot of money to optimize your ads makes sense, because you tap into our program-like nature. Or what kind of adverts do you have to send to, let's say, to speak to a German program? A German person, yes? You need to use a certain programming language to reach them. Like the American language doesn't really work for German advertising. German advertising, American advertising, quite different. American advertising usually much more flashy, much more fast-paced and so on. You have German advertising, which is much more like speaking to the, security conscious, insurance stuff, that really works, okay, here is how you deal with your fear. Here is how you organize your life better. You need to use this product to deal with your fear. Different types of languages. For example, in American adverts, you have these for medicines. You have these disclaimers, that it's small print disclaimers, and that they are often read. I've seen these ads where they read them at the end of the ad, but they read them extremely fast. That would never work in Germany, because everyone would feel like, do you think I'm stupid? Like it would be offensive. Like to me, it feels offensive to read it so fast. It's like, are you hiding it that obviously from me? Do you think I'm stupid? I'm not actually aware of what you're trying to hide there? Putting it in small print, reading it extra fast. Are you kidding me? That's my response. It doesn't work. You have to adapt to the programs. Denmark program, German program, UK program, American program, Asian program, Thai adverts. Completely different. The way Thai thumbnails are generated on YouTube. To my eyes, it's just a mess that they put everything in. And fonts here and there and little emojis and everything. It's so full, it's so crowded. But it speaks to the Thai program. It speaks to the Thai mind. It's quite interesting, these things. Like observe how we need to address different audiences. Marketeers, do you say marketeers or marketers? I don't know. They know very well how to address certain audiences with different inputs to trigger the program of, I want this, I need this. And then you, when you watch that and suddenly you feel like, I could buy this, that's a nice product, you think you're totally free, totally independent. You make a decision out of your own free will. No, you're not. You've just been programmed. I won't bore you with going through this again and again. I've told about this numerous times. Go on YouTube, check out the design of supermarkets. Like how they structure supermarkets, down to the carts, down to the elevators. Everything has a point. The way they create a shopping mall. Every stand, they use smell, they use different tiles in different sections, different music. This is for you to make choices. And you think, the cool thing is, you think you're free. That's why this works. Let's take it a step further. What about politics? You think you make free choices for who you are voting for and who you're not? What do politicians do before the voting time begins? They come into the television and then they tell you about how amazing they are and how they're going to totally make everything amazing and how the other parties all suck and how they are terrible and how they are bad. And then they have endless debates about who's better, who's worse. It's like basically just trying to market themselves to make you vote. If I say such and such and such, my audience will vote if then. That's their idea. If I say the right things, then I get subscribers. Then I get paid subscribers. That's pretty bleak. Knowing that basically everything you do from the morning when you open your eyes throughout the dreaming state at night, everything you do is programmed. That is the truth if you're unconscious. So if you're unconscious, life is deterministic. That means everything is predetermined. If you're unconscious, you're going to react how you have learned to react. If you're conscious, now we add that thing in our code. If consciousness arises, all programs are seen as programs. But that which is seeing those programs itself is not a program. Because it is not time-based. Consciousness always just is. Consciousness is not something that will be or was. Consciousness only ever just is. Since it is not time-based, it is outside of programming. It doesn't adhere to the law of causality. It's not subject to cause and result. Therefore, no time. But in our programmed world, everything is causality. If, then. The Buddha even outlines that in one of his talks. I don't know which one. If you're listening to this online, maybe you can write it down in the comments. There is a quote where he says, basically he talks about causality and he says it just like that. He says, if this happens, then that happens. If this does not happen, then that does not happen. Something like that. So he gives insight into the way everything in this universe adheres to causality, which means everything is programmed. This is the law of karma. That which governs, the primary force that governs the programming is intention. And intention only arises if there is no fulfillment. Then there is an intention for the only thing we desire, which is fulfillment and happiness. But if you're already happy and fulfilled, intention fades, goes away. And with that, presence is there. Naturally, you just realize you are here already. The end of suffering. The end. programs, in that state, programs cannot sustain themselves any longer, so they begin to break down. All the programs of desire, I'm not here yet, I want this, I want that, I don't want this, I don't want that, I'm afraid of, I hope. All that kind of stuff begins to collapse as you maintain the recognition of presence, of your presence. That's where it's at. It's your core, your heart, your being. That is the end of doing, the end of programming. Particularly the end of unconscious programming. There's a middle thing, which is conscious programming. So you realize, due to consciousness, this program is actually harmful, so you can abandon it. And this program is actually beneficial, so you can cultivate it, just like we did in this meditation. And I told you, as you breathe out, make it pleasant. Make yourself happy now. Using perceptions such as melting, enjoying, healing, letting go, evaporating, that kind of stuff. You're tapping into other programs of, I finally arrived, or all my problems are solved. That feels wonderful. It doesn't matter if all your problems are actually solved or not. What matters is the feeling of it, doesn't it? That's what you really want. Where is that feeling? It's available to you. It's a program. You can tap into it consciously and make use of it. And we make use of better and better and better programs so we can completely transcend programming altogether at the highest point. But the point is, first, make better programs. Improve yourself. Improve your inner language, your code. Make it better. Then go beyond it. You can only go beyond it if your code is allowing for that. All right? So that's all that comes to mind for today.
We hope you enjoyed this episode and had a meaningful time. For more information and upcoming events, head over to our website at phuket-meditation.com. Thank you very much for listening and have a wonderful day.